Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Better Call Saul Season 6, Episode 10. Or I suppose we should say, 1, Armani suits are fun. 2, I don't remember this.
Jordan shoes for you.
There we go. And then there was something more out the door. This is probably going to be one of those episodes where we go back and watch it many times over and that will be ingrained. But we are so excited to talk with you guys about this episode. I feel like, my predictions are wrong sometimes, but I feel like this is going to be very polarizing. I think a lot of people are either going to really like Nippy or they're going to be like, really? That's all we got in Nippy?
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of those episodes where either people really love it or they're just like, not enough action, not enough push through with more story. I personally was very happy to finally have an episode that was just all Gene. Like, I really have been waiting for this. So, I mean, for me, I got everything that I was looking for in this.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys did too.
Well, before we go forward here, and there's a super hot take, maybe piping hot take we're going to get to very, very soon. But go ahead, hit that subscribe button because we will be here through the rest of Better Call Saul. We do still have a few episodes to go, and who knows what we're going to get after this. So we want you guys to be a part of all these discussions.
Yeah, Walt and Jesse haven't shown up yet, and they've definitely been hyping that up, that they are going to be making an appearance. And so, yeah, hit that subscribe button because we will be here for you after every episode talking about the show. Also, follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV.
All right, let's just do this hot take right here. Is this the Better Call Saul version of The Fly? Because that is the first thing that came into my head. Okay, see, maybe you're in agreement here because The Fly, very much about a singular event. I think a lot of people love The Fly. A lot of people hate The Fly. I love The Fly. We are hashtag Team Fly here, and I am hashtag Team Nippy as well, just because it was, kind of a singular goal, but the plotting of it was really, really cool. We had a fun, big payoff at the end.
This episode made me so hungry. I felt like I was watching a 50-minute Cinnabon commercial, and I think Cinnabon is going to have a very good day tomorrow. I mean, those shots of that Cinnabon, and even just the security guard eating the middle and being like, oh man, this is like the best part. I haven't had Cinnabon in years and years, but he is absolutely right. The middle is the absolute best part. I was just like, man, yeah, Cinnabon, you guys gonna have a good day after this.
I tend to agree with the security guard here as well. As somebody who has had a Cinnabon maybe like a few months ago, that middle is the bomb. Here's the thing though. I can't pick up the Cinnabon with my bare hands like he did. It's like, you are going to make a mess. You eat it with the knife and a fork. I am afraid of getting really, really messy.
Yeah, we had the one security guard who would grab it with his hand. I was like, oh, okay. But the other security guard that Gene was using so that he could time things, get his scam together, knife and fork. And that's the way to do it.
Yeah, this is really the debate that everyone came to this video for. How to best eat your Cinnabon.
Okay, the real debate that I came out of this episode with is, does Jeff the cab driver have some sort of connection to sort of this Breaking Bad world? Because we had this whole thing where Gene decided that he was going to take care of this cab driver problem on his own. He befriended Jeff's mom. He, was finally sat down with Jeff and was like, I know what you want. You want in the game. I'm going to create this whole big elaborate scam so that you can feel like you're in the game. But really, at the end of all of this, I'm just really getting some sort of blackmail on you, because guess what? I want to continue living my life and I don't want you part of it. So now I've got something on you. But when Miriam called Gene into the house and was like, oh yeah, wash up before you go, whatever, she revealed that Jeff had come back from Albuquerque and that there he fell in with some bad people and all that sort of thing. And we all know, obviously, what went on in Albuquerque with Breaking Bad. So Is he connected or not? You guys let me know. Let us know in the comments. Do you think he's connected to Jesse? To who?
Okay, this is my sad trombone response here. Okay, because I don't know if he is. I mean, he might very well be. There are so many, ne'er-do-wells in the Breaking Bad world that he could have been attached to. Maybe it's Jesse, maybe it's Badger, maybe it's just like one of these sort of people we saw here or there. Like my made up biography of Jeff in my head, and could be totally off base, but I'm rolling with it, is that this is a guy who had some demons and he was letting them run amok a little bit in Albuquerque, but he had something in him that wouldn't allow him to like go for the big score, to like do the big criminal act he really wanted to. So he goes back to Omaha and he's thinking, I'll be a cab driver. I'll be a good son. I will clean myself up a little bit. But there comes Gene, and Gene knows just exactly what this guy wants.
Okay, I personally don't think that it's a coincidence. The show isn't gonna throw that in there as just a, hey, he just happens to be in that area, coincidence. I think that he was. And if I had to take a guess, Badger and them, yeah, that's a possibility. But I actually think, and we may never find this out, this is just, where I'm thinking, is that he's somehow connected to Uncle Jack and Todd. I think
Todd.
He's sort of connected to that group. I mean, that group was pretty big. There was a lot of different people that kind of came in and out of that group. We didn't really get to know everybody in that group that well, besides Todd. I just love Jesse Plemons, so I'm going to say Todd as much as I can. But no, I think that he is connected, and that, that way he would be connected to that world, but he wouldn't necessarily know that Saul is that connected to that world. He would know who he is because he's a local and he saw the billboards or whatever. But I think he is connected. I don't think it's a coincidence.
I think it's going to be fun if they ever give us anything more with that. And even if they don't, we can all sort of have our theories on all of this and sort of chart along our own Jeff backstory. Like it's a pretty interesting thing. And it's interesting as well that, there was a big hubbub that they recast Jeff and we're seeing a different Jeff than the Jeff we saw previously. And it's just sort of like, about a couple minutes into the episode, I honestly didn't care anymore. And that's no slight to the original Jeff. It's just like I was just compelled into the story.
Yeah, the story was so solid that it truly didn't matter. Like, again, no offense to the other actor that played Jeff. Like, this guy was great. The whole setup of this whole sort of scam was great. It was great to see Gene like slip that ring back on. I was like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
Even just how like slipping back into Slippin' Jimmy and all that sort of stuff. Seeing him take little bits of truth and slip it into his lies when he was sitting there talking to the security guard, and he was like, my brother is dead. I don't have a wife. I was like, we just got off this Kim episode where she's gone, and now you're all like, I don't have a wife. Come on.
It smashed my heart, but it's sort of like at the same time, I'm glad they threw so many different Easter eggs in there to remind us that all the Jimmy and the Saul is still a part of him. Like we even had a great little Breaking Bad narrative in here as well, and sort of just him being like, I saw a teacher with no money, and then he had a van full of money. It's like, that's great, but you're kind of leaving out the part about how he got the money. Okay, let's just spend a second here on guest stars, because Carol Burnett at the start and end of this episode, when we had Carol Burnett in the opening here as Mary, and I kind of thought, we're going to get a full episode of her, and she was maybe in like 3 minutes of the whole thing. It's like I'm overjoyed because she is hilarious. It's so weird that a show just dramatic has this many funny people on it.
Oh, for sure.
That warmed my heart. Also, for all of you Parks and Rec fans out there, Jim O'Heir, this man has like mastered the art of playing like bumbling but somewhat endearing people. He was this as the security guard.
He was. He really was. He was just I felt so bad that, Gene was getting one over on him. But I mean, most of the people that he's getting one over on, I feel bad for.
The thing that it's just sort of weird to me is, you mentioned, Walt and Jesse earlier. They're obviously gonna show up at some point,
Mhm.
but are we really going to be living in that Breaking Bad Saul timeline all that much at all moving forward? Because clearly, the writers know we already saw Breaking Bad, so the
Mhm.
kind of the struggle becomes like, okay, how much do you show us a story that we already know? Are there bits and pieces that were left out of Breaking Bad but are still important to Saul and you're going to show them now?
Yeah, it's a good question because I mean, obviously this whole episode was all Gene
Yeah,
in the present timeline where Walt is dead, so he's not going to be coming out to Omaha or anything
yeah.
like that. And we've all known for a while that they are going to be showing up. So is it going to be a memory? Are we going to be going back and still sort of seeing like what happened to Jimmy after Kim left and sort of that crossover? Because we really were getting to that timeline
Yeah.
where these were going to be crossing over.
Like my prediction on this, and I honestly hope it's not right, but I feel like we're gonna get something similar to El Camino, where we saw Walt show up and we had that scene in the restaurant
Oh
that
man,
was,
I hope it's more than
yeah,
that.
it's like that scene was fine. It's just like I don't need more of the same from Better Call Saul. I need
Yeah.
them to do something, I don't know, just like a little bit different.
It needs to matter. And I mean, yeah, that scene El Camino was, it was fun. It was fun to
Yeah.
see him back and everything, but it didn't add that punch that I thought it was really going to add to it. And I think for this show, it needs to matter, especially since with sort of where Jimmy is becoming Saul entirely. I mean, this is a great time to come in and sort of maybe give us a couple of things that we wouldn't have seen on Breaking Bad.
I would be I would be all for that. And there's a couple of things that are just sort of in my craw here coming out of this episode, and not all of them are necessarily even bad. It's just, number one, Jeff falling. I thought I number one, I laughed a little bit when he fell. I hate myself for it, but I did it.
I
Also,
love watching people
okay.
fall. I'm a horrible person, I know.
It was so well executed. Great fall, Jeff. Also, I thought he was dead for about 20 seconds there while, Gene was just sort of freaking out watching the security cameras. I was just like, oh no, he's never getting up and he's about to get found out.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. And there was a moment where I was wondering if Gene was going to decide to just let him get arrested and just kind of go from there and just have him kind of carted off to jail so he doesn't have to worry about him for a little while and he'll just kind of maybe disappear again.
The other thing, and this is purely selfish, I admit this entirely. The show is not giving me necessarily what I want. I wanted Kim in this episode, darn it. I still believe that she is out there. I still believe that she is going to come up at some point. In all these sort of exit interviews, Ray Seahorn has never said that she is done with the show. She keeps
No?
being like, wait and see, wait and see. I am waiting and seeing.
I'm just not sure. I mean, it's hard because this is the Breaking Bad universe and nobody has really a happy ending. It's just I know a lot of us want to see Kim show up in the Gene timeline and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's sort of get back together or work it out or something." But even just seeing Gene hang up, the Armani shirt, a crazy Armani shirt with the colorful tie, all black and white, colorful tie,
Yeah.
the crazy tie. We saw that even though he hung it up and walked away, that if Kim comes back, he may not be walking away. And that is part of why she walked away, is that it's too much. It's gotten people killed. She thinks they bring a lot of good in each other and they bring out some very bad choice road things out of each other as well. So I kind of wonder if it might be a situation where maybe she sees him and he sees her and she just keeps on walking.
I could see that happening and it's gonna make me sad.
Yeah, where we at least kind of get to know that she is still in the
Yeah.
future. Gus didn't hunt her down and kill her in the past, and that they at least have a second to see that each other are doing okay and then continue on.
It is so curious. We're coming out of this episode and like so much was put into somebody knows who Jean is. This is going to be a huge problem. And it's like now it's all done seemingly. Like, unless Jeff comes back and it's sort of like, all right, the show resets itself now. Jean seemingly doesn't have any more problems in the flash forward.
That's where Kim might show up, and then that will be the thing that's like he'll be happy to see that she's okay, but brokenhearted because they will not be able to be together still.
Well, we will see. We will be back next week to be excited and or sad by whatever they do from here. Yep. But of course, hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss any of that. We love doing these videos and interacting with all of you. So thank you so much, and we'll see you here next time.